From the open shore I will learn to fly, soaring past the great divide. Voices that surface seem to call out all the lies. Is it still a sin if I let them in as they sail to calmer tide? I'll awaken what's asleep inside.
So, can you beat Dark Souls 3 with only bows? Yes, obviously. But I think we're mainly going to see if my dumbass can do it. So, without further ado, let's get into the rules. Rule number 1, obviously I can only do damage with bows, short bows and long bows only, because I figured great bows and crossbows could be ideas for future challenge runs. Rule number 2, I have to kill every single boss in the game, including DLC. And rule number 3, no glitches allowed, as I tend to not enjoy using them for challenges unless it's entirely necessary, which for this challenge run, it is not. So, I'm gonna quit yapping, let's get into Dark Souls 3 with only bows. Alright, let's get straight into this. So, we start off by of course creating our character, and picking the Thief class, as it is the only class that starts with a bow in this game. Also, the starting gift does not matter at all, so I think I just picked the Black Fire Bombs so that I can trade it later. Alright, let's get straight into this. Start off by grabbing my new blue Lucozade. Make a quick jump so I could grab a titty. Then, no point in wasting any more time, let's head straight into our first boss, Iudex Gundyr. So, I've never really actually used bows in these games, like at all, as much as I've liked to, because they're cool, but at the same time I just always heard that the damage is terrible, so I didn't really see the point. And with Gundyr, we're stuck with only 30 arrows, so this was actually a little bit stressful because I wasn't sure if I would actually have enough ammo to kill him. But I also realised that hitting him in the head would not only stun him, but also do more damage. But it would require me to manually aim. Although, as you can kind of see right now, I'm actually going to be a bit stun locked until phase 2. And then, from here on, it was pretty much just locking on and shooting. And I also realised here that the short bows actually have a dodge attack, which is really nice. It does do a bit less damage, but it's super quick and will come in very handy for later on boss fights. So, Gundyr's not too bad. I mean, he is only the first boss, and he goes down on the first try. I then head straight through to Firelink. Realise that the only arrows I currently have access to are wooden arrows, which are extremely cheap, which is nice, but also do way less damage than most of the arrows. But for now they're going to do fine, and I can get loads of them, so I don't need to worry about running out. I then start collecting the usuals. First of all, jumping up a tree to grab a homeward bone. Trade in my Black Fire Bomb to get a nice titty chunk, and grab the Estus Shot, and of course grab the Silver Serpent Ring, which will definitely be helpful since I'm going to need a lot of souls for this run. A lot for arrows and for levels. So now that my shopping list is complete, let's head to the High Wall of Lothric. And we can already grab our first new bow, the Longbow. So, especially for the start of the run, I tended to use the longbow a lot more than the shortbow, as I thought that the bigger damage would be worth the trade-off of it being slower. Later on in the run, I tended to change my mind for this, but for at least the first bit of the run, this is going to be my main weapon. I continue my way through the area, killing the Pussum Man for some new nice titties. I then started just running my way through, grabbing Greyrat Selkie on the way, and head over to free Greyrat and accept his service. This will be a very useful NPC for this run. And you know, now that I've headed back, got some upgrades for my longbow, I can head over and speak to Emma, and now we can head over to take on our next boss. Oh yeah, it's fall time, people. That was a lot closer than I ever thought it would have been. Fort is usually a very easy boss, but just the slowness of the longbow really made me struggle with that. That really should have been an eye-opener already about how the longbow was not the player, but for some reason I didn't see it yet. But either way, Vort goes down on the first try. Now I can head back to Firelink and speak to my boy Grey Rat, who would nicely sell us some standard arrows and fire arrows. Standard arrows are just a straight up upgrade from wooden arrows, which is better physical damage. And fire arrows do a little bit more damage with, you know, an extra bit of fire damage on top, which will be helpful for some bosses. We can now start making our way through the undead settlement, making sure to grab Lerat's bone. We can now head back to Firelink and give my boy Grey Rat the bone, and then continue for the area with, of course, no problems at all. That's much better. Say hi to best bro Sigvard, who I will have to do his quest, at least up to a certain point. And also meet best friend, the Giant. Also, I'm just going to point out, in case anyone thinking it, yes, I know you can get the Hawk Ring from killing this Giant, but I don't really think it's going to be even that helpful, and I don't want to kill him, he's nice. So, yeah, don't worry, I know about it. Then me and Sigvald take on some big ass demon. Easy first try. Grab the Flint Ring, which will increase my damage with lower equip load. This will be helpful for quite a bit of the run. And the Weed Ring, which of course increases my stamina recovery rate. I then thought, screw it, why not take on Mr. Tree Balls now? Which, believe it or not, was actually pretty fun with this. I obviously had to manually aim with the bow to hit all of his balls, and it was a bit more of a challenge than it usually is. And I weirdly found myself having kind of fun with this boss. My damage was still good, and this was only a +3 bow. So, I mean, yeah. I don't know, I actually enjoyed the Curse Ride great with this time. And still, he goes down on the first try. We go speak to the homie Grey Rat again, and send him out to pillage, so we can get some more items from him. Now we can start heading through the Road of Sacrifices. Which, I mean, there was literally nothing interesting about, so he's Omri. Sadly, we don't really need Omri or Horus for this build, as they don't really help with anything to do with bows, but I still do a fair bit of their quests, just because it's fun. And now grab the Weed Shield for some more stamina recovery. And now we can head on to our next boss, the Crystal Sage. Which also happens to be the first boss I actually died to, mainly because of the lack of speed with the longbow. I think it was not helping with dealing with all the clones and stuff. But oh well, we can come back to them. First, let's take care of Dumb and Dumber. 1. And 2. And so let's head through Farron Keep. We then took out the 3 fires. Also grab the Dream Chaser's ashes and give them to the Handmaiden, which will let us buy our next type of arrows, the Ferro arrows, which have pretty decent damage altogether and also have the best range out of any arrows. Now it's time to take on our first lord, the Abyss Watchers. Okay, I take it back, bro. You're doing great. Just smacked him under the air. Let's go! And it took a good few attempts, 5 to be exact, but that's our first Lord of Cinder down. Now that we've killed another boss, our boy Greyrat should be back. And this is great, because he's returned with some new types of arrows. The large arrows. Which just so happens to be the literal main arrows I'll be using for the entirety of the rest of this run. Because they just do the best physical damage, and honestly, even on bosses weaker to elements, usually have the most damage anyway. So, yeah, thank God I got these. Now it's time to get my revenge on the Crystal Sage. Overall, this boss actually isn't too bad. It's mainly just about patience, to be honest. Obviously, before he starts spawning in clones, you can just hit him with arrows, it's pretty simple. But when he does spawn in clones, you do preferably want to take them out first, even if it takes time, and then take out the Crystal Sage himself. Because, really, it's just not worth trying to take him out and having the spammy other clones coming at you. But I think the main thing that I realised was just that I should be using the short bow, because it's so much quicker, not even that much less damage, and I can use the running / dodging attack to kill the clones with one hit anywhere. This, I think, is mainly what made this so much easier, and the first attempt back, we beat him. Now it's time for Cathedral of the Deep, where I have typical church interactions, like touching an old man's cum rag, but we'll leave this area for later. I made my way through, grabbing Lloyd's sword ring on the way, for that damage boost at full health. I totally don't die to Kirk. I didn't kill a couple of giants, so I can get their large titties. And now, believe it or not, it's time for the actual worst boss in this run. The one that brought me the most pain, the Deacons. Yeah, the main problem is that this boss essentially has a time limit, and I can barely get shots in. I even went back to Farron Keep to kill these 3 big boys. So for one, I could get a stylish hat, which I wear for the rest of the run, and also the Black Bow of Faris. This bow's skill is basically a much worse version of Ansbach's bow from Elden Ring, where it shoots 3 arrows in one shot. I was really hoping this would have a bunch of damage and really help me with the Deacons, mainly with phase 2, but it didn't really end up helping. Mainly because for some reason my dumbass still wasn't thinking that just using a short bow would be the best option. So to save myself from the pain of fighting the Deacons for a bit more, I decided to hold off and go to the catacombs instead for now. Not much of this area is very interesting, but I did realise one thing. When I got to the bridge and tried to shoot it down, it wouldn't work. And I tried multiple different ways of doing this, even with the skill, and it still didn't work. I think this may be possible with a great bow, but since we're not allowed to use great bows in this run, I had to settle with just fisting it. I'm sorry. Next up is the Smouldering Lake, which honestly, not too much interesting here. Mainly just got a bunch of upgrade materials, killed the big snake boy. That's about it. Oh, and of course, one more thing, the Dragon Rider longbow. This, from what I can tell, is the highest damaging longbow in the game. So, basically the highest damage bow that isn't a great bow. And I did decide to upgrade it and use it, although again, this was still before I kind of realised that short bows were kind of the way to go, but did think I'd point out that it looks pretty clean, and it is the strongest longbow. Now it's time to take out Big Skelly Boy. To be fair, this is a little more eventful than the fights usually are with Wolnir. And I mean, I don't even know how that last shot hit, but I'll take it. Then once again lay my eyes on the most beautiful view in this game. But sadly we can't explore Irohfell yet, since we don't have the doll. So that means it's back to the Deacons. Bro, I can't get a single attack off! How the fuck, man? I genuinely don't know if this is possible. Like, I don't know if it's possible to do this. So, I was getting a little frustrated. So, I thought, fuck that. I'm gonna go take on Dancer instead. So, it took a good few tries. But, overall, definitely a lot easier and a lot more bearable than Deacons. And after about 5 tries, we take out Dancer. Let's go! Oh, God, man. This was mainly good so I could grab a bunch of chunks and farm large titties off of these Lothric Knights, since I finally decided to use some common sense and actually level up the fast short bow. And let's see what happens after I level it up and for the Deacons. Let's go! Okay. Oh, we got it. We got it, man. Oh my god, finally. And now that I finally used my brain and started using the short bow, I started to realize just how much I was making this game hard for myself. See, the damage is lower, but not even by a lot. Plus, the dodge attack is amazing. It's so fast and adds so much more opportunities to attack against literally anyone. And just even the normal attacks are so much faster. I really wish I just thought to actually use these bows much earlier on. But now that I have, I think we can zoom a bit more. Now that we can finally make it to Irohfell, we can finally start making some actual progress again. Like starting off with getting patches to show up at Firelink Shrine. One, so I can buy poison arrows from him, mainly to use later. And also to get Siegward's armor, to continue Siegward's questline. Throw that armor down to my boy. Then speak to him at his next location. The main reason I'm doing this is so that when I go back to Greirat, I can send him to Pillage here and he won't die because Siegward will save him. So if any of you are confused about how the questline works, just do it this way and you should be fine. Just make sure you don't go to the Irohfell dungeon before doing this. So now I can send my boy Greirat out to Pillage again. This is so I can get the magic arrows. Although, funnily enough, I went through all this effort to make sure this went right, and I never even ended up using them, but when he comes back, I will be able to get moonlight arrows. And you know, since we've gone all the way through Iroquois anyway, I thought it might well be time to take on Pontiff.
Let's go! First try Pontiff, man. Let's go. Oh, close. It was close, but we got that shit first try.
Yeah, my god, the short boss is so much better. And now, finally, at last, we're on a roll again. First, we grab some ashes, and let's just get in to our next Lord boss, Aldrich. This fight overall wasn't too bad, but it was a bit annoying because of how much projectile spam he was doing. They're not actually his arrows, but these like little purple balls. Usually these aren't really a problem in a normal playthrough, but because I'm trying to keep more distance and I have a pretty slow attack pattern, it's like every single time I want to shoot, I just kind of have to tank them, and when you have to tank a lot of them, they actually start to add up a lot of damage. But overall, he's still not too bad, and he still goes down on the first try.
Let's go! Aldrich first try. Second Lord down. Let's go, boy. Sheesh!
This is also the first boss soul that actually gives me something I can use, the Dark Moon Longbow. And I was actually really looking forward to using this weapon, but I kind of just forgot about it and didn't end up using it. So, my bad. Now it's time for Iroquois Dungeon. I send Alva back to Dark Souls 2. Then make my way through the dungeon. Totally not getting gangbanged by rats on the way. It's time for the big boy himself, Yhorm the Giant. So, this fight takes quite a while. Luckily you can lock onto his head, which is mainly the spot you want to be aiming for. If you can keep hitting his head, eventually he falls down. You can usually get about 3 shots on his head when he's stunned then, and that's the main bit of damage you're going to be getting. But to be honest, this is actually quite fun. I actually enjoy fighting Yhorm in ways that aren't the typical way. And I mean, I'm someone who even likes Yhorm normally anyway, so I actually quite enjoyed this. It was nothing too crazy, wasn't too difficult. In fact, this was first try, but it was still a fun challenge.
Oh. Oh, that's so clean. Oh fuck, the first one missed. That's so unfortunate. Fuck, oh, I'm gonna go 1 hour for the shadow. I'm gonna clean as knockdown. Who needs a fucking storm roller, alright? empty mana. I do have some more though. Let's go! First fucking try. Woo! Fucking hell. I was expecting that to be so much worse. I really was. Cheers, Emma. You're already dead, but thank you anyway. Whew.
Now we can continue through Lothric Castle and take on the Dragon Slayer armor. This was a really fun fight in this run. I mean, I'm a lover of this fight anyway. This is probably a top 3 boss in the game for me, at least in base game. And he's just as fun with a bow, honestly. It's kind of nice having low damage in a run like this because it really helps you to appreciate the bosses even more. That you don't fully get when you know, do a casual playthrough and know everything about the game already. But this was really fun, especially having to manage the fucking butterflies shooting at you alongside the armor. It was a lot of fun to manage and to learn how to do it. And I had a great time. So, Dragon Slayer armor is another one that goes down on the first try.
Let's go! First try, man. Let's fucking go. Shoo! Let's go. Yep. Fuck you bitches too. Bah.
But before I start heading for the Grand Archives, I head back to Ariandel to grab something important. Ouch. We kill some random tree lady and head up the ladder to grab the Titanite slab. Now I decide to go and take on Osiris. This is another fight that isn't too bad. Osiris can always be quite annoying, at least to me anyway. I always find his moveset to be a bit irritating, mainly, you know, those annoying charge attacks and everything. But our damage is actually pretty decent, especially still with a +9 short bow, as I haven't used that Titanite slab yet. And having the range does actually kind of help. He mainly just uses the charge attack and the jump attack and stuff. And if you can get behind him, you can keep shooting him in his ass. It does quite good damage. But either way, Osiris goes down on about the 6th try.
Let's go! Fuck you, Osiris. You piece of shit.
And next up, let's head straight to the Chad himself, Champion Gundyr. Phase 1 of this fight is really easy because he plays really passively, so I can just stay a little bit back and just keep spamming arrows. But phase 2 he gets a lot more aggressive, and it's still tricky, but I get the hang of it pretty quickly, and overall this fight goes pretty well. Another one down on the first try.
Let's go! Another first try, let's go. Another close one. Every single one I've ended up with like no Estus left, but I'm getting it, I'm getting it.
I can then grab a nice trusty butt plug, and a pair of balls go with it. Now I can head back to Iroquois Dungeon and head to Archdragon Peak. And of course, the first boss to take on here is the Ancient Wyvern. This boss, if you can call it that, is super easy. I managed to get him in an infinite loop where he would just keep breathing fire in a place where it wouldn't even hit me, so I just spammed arrows at him. It just took a while. This wasn't hard at all, it was just boring. So yeah, first try Ancient Wyvern.
Well, GG's Ancient Wyvern. That was easy as shit, but just very boring.
And let's not waste any time. Next up we got our boy the Nameless King. Phase 1 took a bit of getting used to know when I could actually attack and like not miss him, but overall it wasn't too bad. And then phase 2 was a lot of fun. I gotta say, learning to fight these bosses in such a unique way is actually so much fun. It shows just how good Dark Souls 3 bosses are, because even with a build that I'm really not good with, that I'm not used to at all, I'm still playing well because I just know the bosses so well. And I mean, this is just really fun. It's really fun to learn how to space between his attacks, where I can actually get my shots off, where I can get a dodge shot off or a normal shot off. It's actually so much fun to get used to. And surprisingly, I actually take the Nameless King down on the first try. Bang. 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 Ooh, bad. Ooh, that's bad. Oh, I got really lucky there.
GG's, my guy. Sheesh, first try. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
This is where I also decided to finally level up the composite bow, the other small bow in the game, and realise that it actually does a decent bit more damage than the small bow. So, wish I did that earlier, but oh well, I've got it now. So that leaves only a couple more bosses for base game. Starting off with the one that I always forget, the old Demon King. Yeah, this fight is stupid easy. I just stayed back and just spammed arrows. It really wasn't hard at all.
Big explosion time? Yo, brother. I'm sorry, bro, but you're cooked. GG's, Demon King.
Bye. And that's time for probably the second hardest boss in this run, the Twin Princes. Phase 1 isn't too hard. Basically just dodge Lorien attacks, respond with your attacks. It's pretty simple. It's more phase 2 when we get into some problems. Phase 2 is mainly just really hard because it's really hard to hit Lothric whilst he's on Lorien's back. Other than the occasional arrow that you're able to get behind him, it's not likely going to happen. So you mainly just need to kill Lorien over and over again, and then make the most out of the punish you can get onto Lothric afterwards. But even then, you maybe get about 4 or 5 arrows, which don't do that much damage, so it's not too bad. It was actually a lot of fun, similar to the Nameless King fight. It's really fun relearning these bosses, plus this is my personal favourite boss in the base game. So I was really glad to see that this boss was challenging in this run, and I was more than happy to fight it multiple times to get it done. So it definitely took a bit of learning to get done, but it only took about 3 tries.
Let's go! Let's go! Respect my boys. That was definitely the hardest boss so far. Definitely. Oh my god, GG's. GG's base game.
That now only leaves the final boss for base game. So, time to head into the DLCs. Starting off by taking out Big Man Wilhelm. Too easy, bro. And next up is Mr. Wolf and his bitch the Gravetender. Surprisingly, this fight actually wasn't too bad. It was a bit annoying and the first time went pretty badly, but on second try, I kind of realised I needed a new strategy. The Gravetender is really hard to hit, just like every other NPC, because they dodge so much. So as soon as the Wolf comes in, I just focus on the Wolf first, which is the only time in any playthrough I've ever done that.
Are you playing?
And I focus on the Wolf first, kill him, and then take out the Gravetender. And with that, it wasn't too bad.
Oh,
And now, straight into the biggest baddie in all of Dark Souls. My girl, Sister Fried.
go, first try.
Easily best Dark Souls fight. And let's not slow it down. Next up is a Demon Princess. And I don't know what it is, but I think all the practice I got from the pain of doing these two at SL1, which took so long, has really paid off because, damn, I've gotten so much better at this fight than I ever was. And even with the super low damage with the bow, especially in phase 2, this actually goes pretty well, and it's actually really fun. I mean, I've always liked this boss anyway, but again, it's another one that's quite unique with the bow, and quite a fun time, honestly. I'll mostly just let you guys enjoy.
Okay. Damn, okay, first try. Well. GG's, Demon Princess.
We then head up to take out Cliff Medea. This was pretty easy. Next up is Big Man Half-Life. This fight, unsurprisingly, was pretty fucking annoying, but not as bad as level 1. I guess that's something. But again, bows with NPC fights is just irritating. Having to deal with them dodging you constantly dodging projectiles, really makes me worry for future run ideas as well. But in the end, it's still not too bad, and he goes down on the third try. Next up is the GOAT himself, best dragon fight FromSoft ever made, Dark Eater Medea. This fight is always goated. Like I said, my favourite dragon boss FromSoft have ever made in any of their games. I absolutely love this fight, and because of that, I think I'm pretty good at it. And yeah, I'm glad I am, because damn, this fight took time, man. You do so little damage to Medea with the bow that it's kind of insane. He takes a lot of arrows, and I mean, obviously he's very beefy anyway, so yeah, this fight drags on for a while, but again, it's a really fun challenge, learning what attacks you can punish, how you can properly hit his head every time, how to properly position yourself. It's always a good time. It's really fun to learn. So, Medea goes down on the second try.
Okay, that's not what I thought that was gonna happen. Oh, come on, man. No, don't be dumb, don't be dumb. I'm being dumb, oh fuck. Yeah, that push for being really right there. I got him, okay. Whew. First try. That's such like a rough one, because he's got so much health and I do so little damage that it's like I nearly choked him right at the end. If I had choked that would have been so unfortunate.
That leaves only one more challenge for the DLC left. Slave Knight Gale. But first I need to touch this guy's ball so that I can end the world. Next up is the man himself, Slave Knight Gale. Another one of the best bosses in the whole of Dark Souls. this fight is definitely a huge challenge, just simply because Gale has so much health and we do so little damage. But my strategy here was pretty simple. Basically just use large arrows in phase 1 to get into phase 2, and then during phase 2 he actually is fairly passive at the start, so I mainly just spam, especially with the skill of the bow, to spam arrows. I spam poison arrows to poison him, and then just keep hitting him with normal arrows at the same time to just pump on as much damage as possible. But to put in perspective just how much you have to be focused in this fight, it took about 13 minutes the successful attempt did, which was even longer than like my level 1 run or anything like that, because that damage is just so low. So it's definitely not easy, but we get through it, and Gale only takes about 4 tries.
Okay, it's still enough damage. Let's go! Sorry. GG's Gale.
And now, with Gale taken down, that leaves only one boss left in my way before I've beaten Dark Souls 3 with only bows. It's time for the Soul of Cinder. And with that last arrow, that is the Soul of Cinder down. And with that, Dark Souls 3 has been beaten with only bows. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This was another really fun one to make. I'm having such a blast recording, editing, and just creating these videos. It's so much fun. And to have some lovely feedback from you guys really means the world. Just even a single like, a single sub, a single nice comment, all of it just wow. it really is amazing, and I'm so glad that I'm feeling the passion to do this now. I have so many more runs in mind I want to do, also different video ideas that aren't just runs as well, that I plan on doing and uploading soon. But at the end of the day, just thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did get all the way through with this, thank you, that's amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did enjoy, and maybe subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.